Hello students, my name is Mr. Cantor. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. This video is going to be our misconception guide. Now, if we look at our lesson, you're going to notice under the explore section of your lesson, there is a question number 2. In this example, they ask us to evaluate each expression for the given value of x. They tell you the problem is 3x to the second power, and they're saying to evaluate it when x equals 1/9. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to take a look at this example, and I want you guys to pause this video and see, can you find where the error is? Welcome back. Hopefully you were able to identify where the mistake was. So in example 2, we are told that x is 1/9. So what this student did is they plugged in 1/9 for the x, essentially replacing the variable x with the fraction 1/9. Next, they have to make a decision. Are you going to multiply by 3? Or are you going to perform the exponent? And this student decided to multiply by 3. This is a violation of order of operations because order of operations first says that you need to do parentheses, then you need to do exponents, then comes multiplication and division, specifically from left to right. In this case, the student ended up doing the multiplication before they did the exponents. And so for that reason, this student is incorrect. If we continue to follow along with their logic, we'll notice that 3 times 1 is in fact 3. Then it says 3/9, which is our fraction, to the second power. Let's see what they did with that. They decided to do 3/9 times 3/9. When you have two fractions next to each other separated by parentheses, that means you have to do multiplication, which is essentially what exponent is. You have to multiply what's inside the parentheses by itself 2 times. So 3/9 times 3/9, they did 3 times 3 and they got 9. They did 9 times 9 and they have 81. So then let's see what they did. They took 9/81 and it looks like they reduced it because the 9 became 1 and the 81 became 9. In order for that to happen, you have to divide the numerator and the denominator both by 9. All right, let's jump in and look at student 2. Again, please take this time to pause the video and try to figure out where the misconception lies. Welcome back. Hopefully you were able to figure out where the misconception is in this example. Again, it's the same exact problem, but now it's a different student attempting to approach this example. Now, let's take a look at what they did. They plugged in 1/9 where the x used to be, so that's good. They properly substituted the example. They properly substituted the fraction for the variable. Then let's see what happened. If you notice, it looks like they also have 3/9. And if you notice, the previous student also had 3/9. So it looks like this student also bypassed the exponent phase of order of operations and jumped right into multiplication instead. So they skipped parentheses, they skipped exponents, they went right into multiplication. So remember, we have order of operations and we have to follow it to make sure our answer is always correct. Then we have 3/9, which is our fraction, and it looks like they're multiplying it by 2/1. Why do you guys think they're doing that? 2/1. Where did they get that? Pause the video and see if you can figure out why they're saying 2/1. Okay, welcome back. If you're saying 2/1 is what they thought is what you do when you do an exponent, then you're correct. This is the mistake right here. When you're dealing with exponents, exponents do not mean that you're supposed to multiply by 2. If your exponent is 2, it means you need to take the contents of what's inside those parentheses. You'll need to take that fraction and multiply it by itself. So essentially, you're making a multiplication problem, not times 2, but the problem itself times itself. So essentially, they should have done 3/9 times 3/9, but instead they did 3/9 times 2/1. Let's see the rest of this problem. 3 times 2, they got 6. 9 times 1, they got 9. So far, they're following through with their error. And then if we take 6/9, somehow it becomes 2/3. How does that happen? If you want, you can pause the video here and try to figure out how did they get from 6/9 to 2/3. Okay, welcome back. If you said they took 6/9 and they reduced it, you are correct. If you take 6 and 9 and you divide both of them by 3, 6 divided by 3 will give you the 2, and 9 divided by 3 will give you the 3. So based on all their mistakes and their follow through, I think we have an understanding as to why they got 2/3, but again, that is not correct. This student skipped parentheses, skipped exponents, and they jumped right into multiplication. Then they went back to exponents, and then they did multiplication again. In order of operations, you're not supposed to bounce from different levels back and forth. You start from the top, you don't stop working until parentheses are done, then you go to exponents. You don't stop working on exponents until they are done. Then you go to multiplication and division. You do not stop until multiplication and division are both done, from left to right. Finally, you look at your problem and you check, is there any addition or subtraction? If there is, again, you go from left to right. Okay, let's jump in and look at student 3. So for student 3, I advise you guys to also pause your video, take a second, and try to figure out, can you find where the misconception is? Welcome back. Hopefully you were able to see where the misconception lies in this example. So in this example here, we are told that x is 1/9, just like in the previous examples, and it looks as if the student was able to plug in the 1/9 where the x is. So good job with that. Now let's see what happened next. It looks like after they substituted, they went straight to the exponent part, which is perfect. You have your parentheses. There's no operations inside the parentheses, so we move ahead. As we move ahead, we see that there is exponents, so let's take care of that. This student noticed that 1/9 to the second power is really 1/9 times 1/9, which is perfect. So where did they go wrong? Everything seems to be really good right now. From looking at this a little bit more closely, it seems as if they did 1 times 1 and they got 2, and 9 times 9, they got 9. Something with my mathematics here is not adding up. I want you guys to pause the video and try to find out exactly what did they do wrong. All right, welcome back. Hopefully you were able to see that instead of doing 1 times 1, unfortunately, this person did 1 plus 1. So it looks as if this person thought that when you have two fractions separated by parentheses, you're supposed to add them. Guys, remember, when two fractions are next to each other, separated by parentheses, it means you have to multiply. Be careful. Had the student multiplied, I think they would have been on a right track to getting the answer correct. But unfortunately, they made a crucial mistake. And instead of doing multiplication, they did addition. So unfortunately, it cost them their answer. There's actually one more thing wrong with this example. See if you guys can find it. Please pause the video one more time and try to see, can you find where is the other mistake? Okay, welcome back. If you were able to say that they completely forgot about this 3, you are correct. There is a 3 in the problem, and sometimes when we get so into the math, sometimes a piece of the math problem just falls off and we totally forget about it. That's really, really dangerous. So what I advise you guys to do is after you finish the math problem, go back to the very beginning and check, did you use every element of the math problem to make sure that you were correct? And then you would see that in this case, if you happen to be student 3, you will notice that the 3 is missing. So you still need to take your 2/9 and multiply it by the 3. Will you get the correct answer? Unfortunately, you won't because there's already a mistake here, but at least you won't have a second mistake. Let's recap. This student followed order of operations. They took care of the parentheses. There was no operations inside. They noticed that the next thing was exponents. So they did the exponent, which is 1/9 times 1/9. However, the operation is 1/9 times 1/9, but they ended up doing 1/9 plus 1/9. So unfortunately, their mistake was doing the wrong operation, but their order was correct. Okay, let's take a look. Student number 4, our final student. Let's see what this student did. If you guys can find a mistake in this student's work, take a second, pause, and see if you can find it. All right, guys, welcome back. So let's see, were you able to find a mistake in this student's work? If not, that's okay, because this student actually doesn't have any mistakes. This is the correct process of solving the problem. Let's take a look at it a little bit more closely. They took the x and they replaced it with 1/9. They noticed that there's an exponent of 2. So they did 1/9 times 1/9. And so this student noticed that inside the parentheses was 1/9. According to order of operations, there is no operation inside the parentheses. So therefore, they need to move to the next operation. The next operation is exponents. The exponent here is 1/9 to the second power. So that tells them that they need to do 1/9 times 1/9. So from looking at here, it looks as if they didn't do any multiplication yet. They just converted the exponent into notation that they know how to deal with. So right now we have 3/1 times 1/9 times 1/9. So far looking really good. No mistakes so far. Then parentheses are handled, exponents are handled. The next thing on our list is multiplication. However, we have to multiply 3/1 times 1/9. And we also have to multiply 1/9 times 1/9. So because of that, because they are all the same rank operation, they're all multiplication, we're going to start from left to right. So let's do it. 3 times 1 is 3, and 1 times 9 is 9. So our answer here is 3/9. So 3 times 1 is 3, and 9 times 9 is 81. Take 3 and divide it by itself, you get 1. And when you take 81 and divide it by 3, you get 27. So the final answer to this problem should have been 1/27. If you happen to be any of the previous students, student 1, 2, or 3, then what I hope that you can do is go back and check your own work and try to figure out where your misconception is. Okay, I'll see you guys later. This is Mr. Cantor. I'll catch you guys in the next video.